That's good. So the presentation is about online tools that are available for English teachers anywhere in the world. Most of them I have chosen the free ones, or some tools that are available, both the free and paid versions, but are still available to teachers. So even if we cannot afford to pay big money, most of these tools can be used to benefit us and also to benefit our students. So I've divided them to just two parts, some which are useful for teachers to learn and some which are useful for teachers to teach. So there are two kinds of them. This presentation is not much different from the presentations that I made on the same topic earlier. Maybe some 5 or 6 slides are different. So this is the structure of my presentation. Very briefly, perhaps in a few minutes, I'll just go across the history of online teaching, online learning, and I'll spend 1 or 2 minutes on discussing why this online teaching now. And the focus of my presentation will be on the third part. What are the tools available to teachers to learn and to teach? And towards the end of my presentation, I'll also discuss and give you some guidelines that might be useful to you in case you have to conduct online classes as teachers during these COVID times, during the lockdown times, in case your college asks you, or if you are passionate and if you want to conduct classes online. And maybe I have 1 or 2 slides in the future of this online education, where might we be in course of time in case this situation continues, or even if this situation does not continue, where does online technology take us? I'll skip this. The question is, why online? So why should teachers go in for online? The simple fact is that today, people are evaluated, especially in the academic world. People are assessed and evaluated by the contribution they have made online. A teacher has to leave digital footprints. If a student applies for a job today, or if a teacher applies for a different job today, before you go for the interview, people will have already seen what kinds of contribution you have made, either in the form of a video lesson or a digital lesson or a course that you have created or the courses that you have taken to learn, to improve, to upgrade and upskill yourself, whatever. So a click of a button these days is enough to find out what you've been doing online, right? So your online digital footprints are studied and also are assessed, and that's why this is one very important reason why teachers should leave their digital footprints. Quickly going on to take a look at the history of technology in education in general, not specific to language teaching, not specific to language or literature teaching, but education in general. Sometime it started before 1900 in the form of some early computers, but today you see the whole gamut and then the kind of transformation that has happened. The future of online learning is what I'm going to talk to you about towards the end of my presentation. I already told you. So it has not been a very long time in history, but it has been a dramatic development. So in a matter of 1.5 centuries or 2 centuries, I think the whole course of education and technology in education has undergone a mighty dramatic transformation. And whether you are prepared for that or not, whether you are ready with the tools or not, whether you are willing or not, I think it has been moving terribly fast. Right. Let me just show you a video and then just make some quick remarks about that and then move on to impress upon you how this history of technology has been progressing. Just watch this video. This is about 2.5 minutes, and then maybe you can make some comments on that later. This is 510 BC. This was an academy. parenting. Okay, I've shown you this video for two purposes. One, to tell you how quickly things have been changing in a matter of 100 days, 100 years, 120 years. I think things have completely undergone, as I told you, dramatic transformation. And today what we see perhaps was not available yesterday. And tomorrow what we are going to have is going to be completely different from what we have today. That was the first purpose, to help you understand the history of this technology. The second purpose that I had in my mind was there are lots of resources like this available to you on various platforms already. In case I want to create a video clip like this, or if I want to use a video already available on the web. So what can I do? I can just go to YouTube, for instance. Maybe I can identify something that suits my purpose, something that meets my requirement for my class tomorrow. I can download that. There are various websites that allow YouTube videos to be downloaded. One that I use is savefrom.net, SAVEFROM, savefrom.net. I use that website. So savefrom.net allows YouTube videos to be downloaded. I download them. And after that, I have some video editing tools. So the name that you see on the screen now, Bandicut. Bandicut is this, again, a free software available to people using which you can edit the videos that you download. I have a 15-minute video, but I don't want to show the whole of it to my students. I want only a 2-minute part of it. Or I want only some small trimmed parts of that. Or I want to enhance the audio levels of it. Some such editing I want to do before I take it to my class. So there are softwares which are again free, and you can use them to take your videos to your class and you can show them. Then there are two websites at the bottom. You might see them. One is Animaker and the other is Powtoon. So these two and 100 other such websites, what do? They help you create your own videos. The one that you have seen is a Powtoon video. So similarly, an Animaker video. So you can create videos like that using the softwares that are already available to you. You don't have to spend much money. All that you need is a little time, a little passion, and your classes will become much more livelier, much more interesting if you use such simple technologies. Okay, this I leave. So let's quickly go on to the second part of this. So why online at this time? So these are two facts that I've collected from the web yesterday. The first one says Indian government has announced 32 crore people, students, school children in India have been affected by the lockdown. 32 crore school children is 1/4 of the Indian population, roughly about 25%. And the number of school children in India is about 25% of our population. So if you leave the senior citizens, if you leave the adults, if you not leave out the non-school going people, it's only about 32 crores. That means every single school going child in India has been affected by the lockdown. There's no exception at all. If you look At the global level, UNICEF has given us these facts. 98.5% of the global student population has been affected by the lockdown. The map in the background tells you the countries, right, how seriously they have been affected by this lockdown. All colors indicate some percentage of schools, colleges, and universities affected because of the lockdown. There is no country left now. There is hardly a place in the world. 98.4% is almost near 100%. So the whole world has been affected. There is hardly a place where colleges and universities and schools are still working, still open. No. The whole world has been affected. That is a matter of very serious concern for teachers like us. This is exactly why today we are all talking about online learning and online teaching, because that is a substitute, that is an alternative way available to us to teach our students. Though that may not be very effective, that may not give us all the expected results. We'll come to that a little later perhaps, but what I would like to tell you is this is one good alternative that we have in the current situation. And that's exactly why we need this online learning. Education industry has already evolved into the edutech industry, and that's why so we have to accept that. Then quickly moving on to one more point that I would like to very emphatically make today is, I mean, many teachers ask me, wherever I go, teachers ask me, sir, if technology comes, what happens to us? Will we lose our jobs? Tomorrow, will there be no teachers? Only robots will teach in the classes tomorrow? What happens to us? What happens to these school buildings? What happens to our earnings? Where will we go? These are the questions that teachers often ask me. I would like to tell them quite emphatically that no teacher will ever be replaced by any kind of technology. However much the technology improves, still there will be need for teachers, and teachers will teach students. If not students, they'll teach other teachers. If not teachers, they'll at least teach the robots. The robots have to teach students, no? So we have to teach those robots. Otherwise, how will the robots teach? But there is a risk from somewhere else. The risk is not from the machines. The risk is from somebody else who knows technology. In case you don't know technology, he or she is going to replace you. So people who know technology are going to replace people who don't know technology. A teacher who is equipped with some of these tools that we are going to today discuss tomorrow, today, and maybe you have already discussed, or you already know, or you are going to have with you, all those technologies. If you are equipped with them, you are safe. And if you tomorrow go to your management and say, sir, I am not comfortable teaching online, I cannot do this, I don't know what tool is this, I don't know what platform is this, I can teach only in that four walls of the classroom, that means you are going to be replaced by somebody else, a younger teacher perhaps, who knows this. So the risk is from the technology savvy people, not from the machines themselves. So if you know how to teach your students today the way they must be taught today, you are safe, right? Okay, let's now move on to the main part of my presentation, tools that are available to us online. As I already told you, most of them or almost all of them are absolutely free. You don't need to spend 1 rupee to have to use any of these tools. The tools that you can use wherever you are, whatever subject you teach, and you can help yourself to learn. All these, I'll come to each one of them in detail. That's why maybe I'll not spend much time on this, because I'm going to come to each one of them. The mobile apps, the video streaming, the virtual classroom, the video conferencing tools, and many others. So let me discuss them in detail as I progress from here. The first one, especially language teachers. English teachers often have difficulty in giving meanings to students. Students often come to them and then say, madam, what's the meaning of this word? Or when I'm reading a book, I have a question, I want to know the meaning of a word, right? And if I'm preparing for a lecture tomorrow, maybe I have a difficult word I need to teach my students as a vocabulary item, and I need to know the meaning of the word in detail. Typically, we have 1 dictionary, 2 dictionaries, maybe 5 dictionaries at home, and referring to the meaning of a word is not that easy. It's a physical book somewhere in the rack, and then you need to go there, pick up that book, or maybe you have to all the time keep it on your table, study table, and you have to open that, refer to that. And it's not always easy. For instance, if you are reading a novel and keeping a dictionary beside you, or if you're watching a movie and take a dictionary with you to the cinema hall, it'll be very silly, and then I think it won't serve the purpose at all. So then what do? So there is an excellent tool that teachers can use. I have chosen only 3 here, but I mean, all 3 are good, but I'll show. I mean, Google Dictionary, you already know, perhaps, I think. All that you need to do is to Google search and type the word and type meaning. Sometimes, even if you don't type meaning, the word opens up and then it gives meaning. The easiest. Then I like this OneLook.com. Let me show it to you. So this is OneLook, and this OneLook.com is a dictionary, come reverse dictionary, come thesaurus, and 100 other things. For instance, if you are interested in solving puzzles, doing crosswords, and if you are a word lover, whatever kind of things you want to do, you can do. Just let me type here online, right? Okay, I'm just searching this word. So what has happened? Instead of going to one dictionary at a time, this tool takes me to about how many? 35 dictionaries all in one place. So whichever, for instance, I want to refer to Merriam-Webster, it's here. I want to refer to Collins, it's here. If I want to check the meaning of the word in Cambridge, it's here. And one meaning is already here on the right side. So one meaning is already given, right? And the other dictionaries are already listed. Then suppose I know the meaning of a word, the meaning I know, I want to search for the word. It's possible here. That means it works as a thesaurus. Suppose I am looking for a word that has, but I don't know what's the last letter of this word. There is a 6-letter word, right? And the first 5 letters I know, but I don't know the last letter of this word. So it gives me options. So what are the possibilities? So there is only one word in English language, which is 6 letters, and the first 5 letters are not known to me, and the last. Like this, I mean, there are hundreds of other things that you can do. Yes, please.
This particular screen is not visible to us, sir. When
are you not able to see it?
Explaining how to go into the dictionary.
I see. I'm sorry. This, I think you are able to see the PPT?
Yes, now.
One second.
Sir.
Or maybe what we can do is, the easier way is, if you have all logged in from laptops, you can go to Google search and type OneLook.com, ONELOOK.com. And if you don't have, perhaps you can do that later too.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going back to that. Okay, I'm here. Right. So this is one. Then there is visuwords.com. Visuwords.com. Again, I'll just check if you can see the screen. Otherwise, we'll quit doing this. Can you see the screen now?
Screen
no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, there's no point in doing that now. Maybe I'll just try here. Is that visible? Maybe every time I need to go to screen share and change that, I think. I think I'm not able to show you that web screen, but perhaps maybe this slideshow perhaps will do. Visuwords is another kind of a dictionary where words, their meanings, and their associations, word associations, can be seen, in a beautiful way. And it's very interesting both for students and teachers, and words are connected to each other, and it tells you what parts of speech they are, how are they connected to each other, how they are collocated with others, and lots of other things. So you must try them. I would like every one of you to please take down these two website names and try them after the presentation is over. One is OneLook.com and one is visuwords.com. So both of them are worth trying, and both of them are extremely useful for English teachers and other teachers as well. Okay, then the next thing is, in case I want to read, okay, my problem is not finding out the meanings of words, but I would like to read a book. So what can I do? So there are a whole lot of tools available to you where millions of freely downloadable books are readily available to you. The one that I very strongly recommend to you is the first one, www.gutenberg.org, gutenberg.org. What happens when you go there? When you go to this website, so believe me, there are millions of books, right? And almost in every category that you think of. And all those books are available in different formats. For instance, if you want it in the PDF format, it's available to you. If you want it in the Kindle format, it's available to you. If you want to copy or paste it into a Word file, you can do that. Or if you want to read it on screen, you can do that. How many? Unimaginably huge number of books are available, almost everything that you want to read. And similarly, the list that I have given you are all libraries of books, huge, massive, right? Libraries of books. Each one of them is a link to several millions of books, and you can identify that. Of course, some may have paid versions, right? Amazon, for instance, sells books, and there are a few other websites that sell you books. Books, when you want to buy, they are available, both used ones and new ones. Used books are available for a very low cost, and if you want to buy an expensive book, you can consider buying a used version also. But anyway, coming back to this, so teachers, whenever they decide to read a book, so there are online versions of books that you want to read available. So please utilize this opportunity. Reading, unfortunately, is gradually dying as a habit. So hard copies of books are rarely purchased these days, and not many people are reading them. But at least because you are at home now, if you make it a habit every day, if you read for an hour, any one of these books that you like online, I think you will enrich yourself and your classrooms become much more productive. So this is about books that are available to us. Okay, there are what are called podcasts. I don't know how many of you know them, but there are very, very, very useful, good, interesting, and especially for language teachers, extremely useful podcasts available. The greatest advantage with these podcasts is, so you can download them, you can hear them online, and when you hear them, when you listen to each one of those talks or presentations or whatever, you can adjust the speed to suit your convenience. I can decide at what speed I would like to read, that how many words a minute I would like to listen, or my listening comprehension capacity. So basing on that, I can listen to a podcast, and then I can do lots of comprehension exercises on that, vocabulary exercise on that, reading, writing, all language skills can be acquired by following the suggested practices. So there are exercises, and there are, of course, lots of listening practice. So any one of them, I've given just 3 links there. You can choose any one of them. Each one of them is equally good. So I often use that EnglishDigitalAcademy.com and there are lots of good podcasts, and there are some Indian ones also, but maybe you can choose. So whenever I am suggesting something, don't think this is the only one that's available. Maybe this is one that I know. If there are 100 available, perhaps I have accessed only one or two, and maybe I have developed a liking for them and I've been using them. It does not mean that this is the end of it. So I would like you to identify what best suits your requirement, right? Choose something that fits your bill, fits your need, and then use that. I am sure you will not only just enjoy that, but you will benefit from it immensely. So you can use them for vocabulary building, for LSRW skills, and all of them have authentic speech. So real life conversations recorded, real life speeches recorded. And the recorded speeches can be heard, as I told you already, at whatever pace you want, for whatever purpose you want. So podcasts are a great, useful tool available to all English teachers, and as I told you already, for other teachers as well. Then there are lots of video resources available. What are these video resources? Are lectures by some subject experts like you and me teaching here. Somebody taught somewhere and recorded that and has made it available to the whole world, right? So any one of these lessons can be directly played by you to your students, or you can listen to that and watch that for your own language or literature practice. They are beautiful. Many of them are really good, and they are created by some top English teaching institutes in the world. BBC does them, England does them, Cambridge does them, Oxford does them. So almost every eminent university in the world produces this kind of video lessons, and they are available in the open domain, most of them, and we can download them and we can use them, or we can just directly listen to them. So learnenglish.britishcouncil.org. This is one which is very good for the Indian English students. And similarly, Cambridge English, very recently, Cambridge English also has released some apps. And I just downloaded one of them 2 days ago, and that's extremely good and very well built. Oxford, Cambridge, BBC, all of them have their own video resources, and all these video resources, most of them have paid versions also, but the advanced ones. The basic ones are completely free of cost. Learning becomes easy because you watch things, retention becomes easy. And another advantage is, unlike a regular classroom, whenever I want to listen to a lecture a second time, a third time, a fourth time, it's possible because it's there online. Before I move on, I request you to do one more thing. What is that? Every teacher who is listening to this program today should start creating your own video lessons. You can start from home. You don't need a lot of technology for this. Don't think you need a studio, you need a big photographer, an expensive camera, and so many other things. Just start using your own mobile camera and start speaking into it. Whatever lesson you want to teach, teach. Speak into the microphone, speak into the camera, and then record your lesson. Make them 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos, 2-minute videos, whatever. Maybe one English grammar lesson you want to teach today. It can be a video lesson. I mean, in case you're not very happy with the product, erase that, delete it. You need not circulate it to anybody. And once you gain a little confidence, once you become a little more comfortable with that, and once you think that whatever you have produced is useful to somebody and your students will benefit from watching that, after you have done your own rehearsal and after you watched yourself on camera, when you are happy, you start sending them to your students or maybe friends or whatever. So this is a very simple technique, a very simple tool already available to us. You can start from your own home, your study table. All that you need is one smart camera, smart phone. So please do it. So if all of you agree to do this, suppose you have already decided, and then in case you've already done, it's fine. If you have not done, if you want to start from today, please type yes in the chat box. Yes, I will do. Will you all do that? Just give me some kind of an assurance. And it's not a difficult task. I'm not asking for anything very big.
Yes, sir. Yes, we shall. We shall.
Very good. Are you getting any replies on the chat box?
Yes, we are getting, sir. We are getting. Yes, sir. Everybody.
How many? Quite a few or very few or?
A large number. I got.
Very good. Wonderful. I'm so happy. I'm really happy. Thank you very much. So if I get that assurance, maybe I'll move on from here. But don't just give an assurance and forget it there. Start today. Today evening, if you produce the first video lesson, whether you are going to circulate it or not is not important to me, but whether you have produced one today or not is important to me. If you produce one today, I think your online teaching journey has begun today. Please do that. Right. Okay. Then, so there is a lesson, a video lesson, a beautiful, a very, very wonderful, impressive lesson, which I would like to share with you. Just say this, maybe we'll discuss this after seeing the video. This is again a 3-minute video, I think. Just say this.
2 of Crash Course Literature. If you want to watch season 1, you can do so over here. It's season 4 of Crash Course Humanities. It might even be like season 7 or 8 if you count all the science stuff. Whatever, let's just get started. We're going to start at the beginning of literature, at least a beginning of literature. Sing in me, muse, and through me tell the story of a man who lets all his shipmates die, lies to everyone he meets, cheats on. 2 of Crash Course Literature. If you want to watch season 1, you can do so over here. It's season 4 of Crash Course Humanities. It might even be like season 7 or 8 if you count all the science stuff. Whatever, let's just get started. We're going to start at the beginning of literature, at least a beginning of literature. Sing in me, muse, and through me tell the story of a man who lets all his shipmates die, lies to everyone he meets, cheats on his wife with assorted nymphs, and takes 10 years to complete a voyage that, according to Google Maps, should have taken 2 weeks. That man is, of course, one of the great heroes of the ancient world. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Odysseus, star of Homer's The Odyssey. Did I just say the odd at sea? It's a good pun. Not in the original Greek, though. Now, everyone knows that you can't properly enjoy a book until you know a lot about its author. So before we discuss the Odyssey, we're going to begin with a biographical sketch of Homer, the legendary blind poet of ancient Greece.
Okay, I'm not going to show the whole of it. It's a long lesson of maybe about half an hour. Why I've shown you this is, I think, obvious. Perhaps you've already guessed it. So such lessons are available online again to watch and even to download free. Crash Course is the name of the company that has designed them, and they are available on YouTube. Suppose you want to read a book, how wonderful it would be. You also can see a video made on that, either before you read or after you read, suiting your taste, suiting your preference. And if you watch such videos, how interesting they would be. And suppose you want to introduce your students to such video lessons that are available. So summaries of great epics, introductions to books, and very interesting introductions to some autobiographies and biographies, some histories, or maybe some mythological stories like that, whatever. So whatever is the books that are prescribed for students, the lessons that are prescribed, or you want to make reading possible for your students and you want to enrich yourself, I think such resources are plenty available they are available in abundance. This is one example of such resources available to you. Crash Course. There are many such. So you just search on YouTube, and I'm sure you will get a number of them. You can choose whatever you want, and you can watch that, and you can also share it with others. Okay. Then I'll spend a little time on this. Maybe my own personal experiment, what I have done. I think most of you perhaps do not know me, but there are, I think, maybe about half a dozen of you, at least, because some names were taken when I was introduced to you. Some of them who worked along with me, who retired along with me from service, and who watched some of my earlier lessons. And I created a WhatsApp group. This about 5 years ago. So a simple WhatsApp group of 256 English lecturers. So all of them they have been working together on that group. And what do? We share our teaching experiences. We share if we come across any useful teaching resources. We ask each other questions. We help each other. We work like a collaborative team. And though all of us are not active, but most of us who are in the group learn collaboratively. So this is some kind of a collective effort. And for 5 years, what has it cost us? Nothing. So all that we need is our regular phone on which we have WhatsApp downloaded and we have created a group and we know each other. And whenever we have something to share with others, we just put it on that. So recently, after the lockdown has begun, this was about some 75 days ago, and we started an evening 1 hour collaborative learning session. So every day from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, all of us came alive. This is only text. I think WhatsApp allows only text, of course, though you can send video clips, audio clips, etc. But chatting happens only through text. So all of us, for that 1 hour, on a predetermined topic, a predetermined subject. So we chat, we discuss. So we announce a topic for the next day. One of us takes the lead, right? One of us is the facilitator, and all of us work on that. And then somebody is using the drawing tools. I think you need to disable that. I just check if I can do that. Yes, I think I've done that. Okay. So this is how it has been working. For 60 days continuously during the lockdown times, when we have some free time in the evenings, we all have assembled on WhatsApp and shared our knowledge, discussed some issues, and had some quizzes and lots of other language learning activities, literature sharing experiences, etc., etc. We have 1 or 2 sessions even on some creative writing. So this is possible if we all are interested. So the second exercise that I am giving to you today is, first I told you at least produce 1 video lesson starting from today. The second task that I'm going to give to you today is, please create your own WhatsApp group with your students and a separate group with your colleagues, your subject colleagues. Right? If you have a WhatsApp group with your students, maybe some kinds of useful material can be shared with them instantly whenever you want to pass on something. Or if a student has a question to ask you, maybe you can ask the student to post it to you. Right? Posting rights anyway you can reserve. Whenever, suppose you don't want your students to post you all the time, you can restrict that. Only during a certain time you can allow them to post, and the other rest of the time they cannot post on that. Only you can post, like that. So there are all possibilities that you can try. Similarly, you have, suppose you create a WhatsApp group with all your subject colleagues. There are maybe 10 teachers teaching the same subject in your college, or maybe 50 teachers in your locality who teach the same subject. You take the initiative, create a group of them, and then every day or as frequently as possible, start sharing your teaching experiences with them. Suppose today you are teaching a certain lesson and you have a certain difficulty, you're not able to find, how to teach a certain idea, and then you put it in the group and somebody else comes to your rescue, somebody shares it with you, or you help somebody. So this mutual helping becomes extremely convenient if you have an online interactive chatting tool available to you. But WhatsApp is free. It's already pre-downloaded when you buy a mobile phone, and all that you need to is create that group. That's easy. And the same thing is possible on Twitter groups, Facebook groups, any other kind of groups that you can create. But I suggested WhatsApp because that's perhaps the easiest and very convenient. So please do that. Okay. And you can even use this WhatsApp group that you create to have a regular quiz. Every day you ask a question and you expect the students to answer you. Of course, if the question has only one correct answer, maybe you can ask them to post the answer to your personal wall instead of the group. So when the answers are multiple correct answers are possible, for instance, if you give them an experiential question and we ask them to respond to that, react to that, and give their opinions on that, they can post in the group so that everybody knows others' answers too. You can try it in multiple different ways. And it allows everybody to answer and share and all that. So please do that. This is a very easily available, convenient, and inexpensive tool available to all English teachers. I think I'll also erase this 1 second. Just give me a moment. Right. Okay, somebody has drawn some lines there. Okay, so then there are some very useful apps that are again available to you free of cost. So these apps, what do they do? They help you interact with each other, then learn a language, and whenever there is an update, automatically it gets updated, or sometimes it asks you whether you want to download the latest version of that, and it can be used anytime, anywhere. So because the phone is with you, and as long as the phone is with you, you can use it for whatever purpose and whenever you want, right? And though there are many English learning apps, I personally suggest one local Indian English language learning app to you. And the first one is the one that I have in mind. Hello English is the one. Hello English. HELLOENGLISH. I chose Hello English instead of others because it has many advantages over the others. What are the advantages? One important advantage is English can be learned through your mother tongue here. So when you download the app, an Android app or Apple app or whatever, when you download, it asks you, so what language do you want to learn English through? For instance, if I say, I want to learn English, my mother tongue is Telugu, so I get an app that helps me learn English with Telugu translations and with Telugu equivalents, Telugu meanings, etc. An easy to use app, and also another advantage built into that is lessons come in capsules. Every day a lesson is sent to you. Only after you clear that test, only after you finish that lesson, you are allowed to go to the next lesson. Then there are lots of incentives. Incentives in the form of some gold coins, some flowers, some stars or whatever. So whenever you do something well, so you get an incentive like a child. I mean, you feel excited when you get them. So it's a concept of gamification built into the learning of the lessons. So English language lessons, which indirectly sometimes are English literature lessons too. And another advantage is there. 90% of the lessons that I see on Hello English are based on the current events. So indirectly, I'm also learning what's happening around the world. If the Prime Minister makes a statement today and uses 2 English words, perhaps which are relevant to my level of English today, so they'll be built into the lesson that's given to me today, or the speech itself will become the lesson today, and based on that, I can build my English. So I learn language, I earn incentives, and I assess myself, and moreover, I also become aware of what's happening in the outside world. So many things built into one. And most levels of Hello English are free. Only the most advanced, the higher end versions are paid, and the payment also is not very expensive. If you want to go to the advanced levels, teachers particularly, you can also get the paid version and use it. It's worth doing it. There are, others also. I've just given you one example. You can search for some app on your own, whichever suits your level, whichever suits your taste, whichever suits your aptitude, whichever you like, maybe you can use that. But also introduce such tools to your students. Tell your students that such apps are available, and if you begin using them, they are going to benefit from them. So this is about the apps. Then there are lots of other websites where you can learn language. TED is one of the best. TED is some of the best speeches in the world are available there. So the greatest orators of the world are invited on different subjects, and they are invited to speak, and then the speeches are recorded and are available to us. And TED converts some of these speeches into classroom lessons. That is TED Ed. So quite a lot of engaging, informative, inspirational resources are available there. You can use them, right? So these are all sites where English language learning becomes possible. Let's quickly move on to language teaching. What I've shown you so far is language learning. If a teacher wants to improve his English, or if he wants to help a student learn English, maybe all the tools that I've shown you are useful for you as well as for your students. But now you have to put yourself on a different platform too. What's that? Instead of learning, you need to teach your students. To teach your students, you need something different, not just a resource. You need a tool. So what are those tools that are available to you? The first one is a video sharing platform like this, the one that we are using now. Zoom is the name. So this tool comes to us, right? Again, the free version and the paid version are there. Suppose you have a class of 50 students and every day you want to hold a class of some 30-40 minutes, you can use the free Zoom service, which is available to anyone, any number of times. You don't have to spend any money at all. So every day you can use this, every day 10 times you can use that. What are the conditions? Only some number of, maybe 50 or 100 students, and not more than 35-40 minutes, I think, I'm not sure. So if you want the free version, plan your lessons, ask your students to join, give them a link, and then be there available, and you teach your lesson and help the students. So this, whether the government has insisted on your doing it or not, if you're passionate, begin doing it. This is the future. So you are catapulting yourself into a future where perhaps this will be the only way. We don't know. Maybe this will be, possibly this is going to be the only way available to you tomorrow. Maybe you are no longer needed in a physical classroom. That they may not be very far. So get ready for that. You don't need to wait for government's instructions, your college's instructions, somebody's investment, somebody doing something for you, etc. You can create your own online classroom using any of these tools. Zoom is one. I frequently, very regularly use GoToWebinar and GoToMeeting. GoToWebinar is exactly similar to Zoom, but also has a free version, slightly different, only some controls are different. And GoToMeeting also is like this. GoToMeeting allows you some 50 cameras to be on, like now. I think this Zoom version also allows some 50 video screens to appear simultaneously. Then Zoom also does that. GoToWebinar allows only 6 cameras. Then depending on how much license fee you pay, you decide how many people can participate, how long can you take the class, etc. But as I told you already, the freer versions also are there. Then Cisco WebEx also is very popular. Lots of colleges in Hyderabad are using them already. Cisco WebEx also, again, they're not much different from each other. Technically, even facilities wise, controls wise, I think 90% they are just the same, right? Maybe the colors are different, some simple tools are slightly different, or maybe if the bar comes on the left, it comes on the right, or some such thing, that's all. Otherwise, The effectiveness is the same. The usefulness is the same. The productivity is the same, right? The pricing is also almost similar. So in case you want to organize your classes on a much larger scale, so if you have many more students to help and if you have many more classes to hold, maybe you have to impress upon your college management to buy a regular license, and the license again is available to colleges and institutions at some price fixed by the companies, and then once the college buys the license, all the teachers working there can use it whenever they need. Most probably this is one such effort of this college. So Zoom is being used here. So I think this is a paid version, otherwise it would not have been this long. After 40 minutes, the free version gets cut off. So Zoom, GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, Cisco, others, Google Hangouts is there, I think. I've used Google Hangouts, but not very successfully. I think it's not as convenient as the others, but maybe you can still try. So try one of them. This is the first thing that I'd like to tell you. The second thing, if you want to become an online teacher, you can use any one of these websites on the right side that you see to create a learning management system, an LMS. A learning management system allows you to create your classes, to take your attendance, to upload your lessons, to upload your videos, PowerPoints, to maintain records of your students, and to assess them, to hold tests, and do lots of other things, right? So all this is possible if you have a learning management system. And again, learning management systems also, the simpler ones come free, but maybe you have to pay a little money if you want to use them on a larger scale. So Edmodo is one that I've been using for a very long time, edmodo.com. Very convenient. Moodle is another. Moodle also is really very good. I think the top two will serve almost all the purposes that you can think of, all the needs that you have. So what can you do? Whatever you can do in a classroom, you can do on this LMS. So what do you do in a class? You take attendance, maintain attendance register, prepare lesson plans, teach, and when you teach, perhaps you use some audio visual tools, and after the class is over, maybe students' progress reports you make, and then you send assignments, and maybe send some notices, etc., etc. The same thing can happen on these online classrooms also. They are virtual classrooms. Whatever can be done in the physical classroom can be done on this virtual classroom also. So try one. If you have not already tried one, please just go today, and then when you go back home, try any one of them. Edmodo, for instance, you can try with the first one or the second one, whichever you like. So try them and then explore the various features that are built into it one after the other. It will not take, most of them are self-learning packages. And if you want, you can ask your management to have an online class on how to use them, maybe 2 to 3 hours. If you give to somebody like me, maybe we'll teach you how to use the resource, what are the features built into it, how can you utilize it. I don't think it's necessary. These are all self-learning packages, and support is very good. And in case you have a question, you can ask online and you can get it clarified. I think it doesn't take you much time to become experts in that. So please start using them, even if schools and colleges reopen tomorrow, right? And if they start functioning as always, so you go back to the regular classroom, still you can use these learning platforms, these virtual classrooms, to maintain lots of different kinds of records. For instance, you want to give an assignment to your students after the college hours, right? So you have a virtual classroom. You want to send make an announcement to all your students, possible. So you can administer the class, you can document everything that's happening in the class, and you can track the progress made by your students. You can deliver lessons using PPTs, videos, etc. If there is an online tool, for instance, something you find on YouTube, you think it's useful to your class. So you can link it here, and when you are teaching a class, you can play it. All this is possible, right? So this is virtual. So you can use one online video sharing tool like Zoom or whatever, and you can choose one LMS, a virtual classroom, and finally, you can choose an assessment tool. Okay, any one assessment tool that's available to, I mean, again, hundreds of them are available. I think many of you are already using Forms, google.com, Google Forms. I think even admission to this webinar has happened using a Google form. That's some kind of a survey. So people enter some details and they upload, and then all that automatically gets tabulated to the organizer, and very helpfully, very conveniently, it's displayed. Similarly, I use myquiz.org. MyQuiz is a very interesting, very useful quiz uh, creating tool. So you can put questions there and then multiple choice or whatever kind of questions you create. There are about 10 different kinds. So you can use all of them. So you can post your questions, and at a given point of time, your students can access that, and you can also set the time that's available to your students for each question. And they also know their marks immediately, where they are, etc., etc. Quite exciting. Recently, we conducted one in our own WhatsApp group for our friends, and that, I mean, everybody enjoyed participating in that. How much more time do I have now, Mr. Raju? It's 4:20 now.
You have another 15 minutes to go, sir.
Okay. In case all of you are logged in from laptops, you can try this. You can go, please open myquiz.org. Please go to myquiz.org. And type this number 429196. In the quiz section, type 429196. Just give me a minute. I'll launch this. Can you see the screen? Has it begun for you? Anyone? Can any one of you see the questions on the screen?
Yes, we.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are able to see.
Yeah, it just takes 2 minutes, I think. Please answer the questions. I think many of you are answering already. That was question 1. There are only 5 questions. I think that was the last question. So, hearty congratulations to David, Shobha, Shakina, Kirti, Aru, and a few others. I think there are a few others. Anu, Biki, Devi, Pramila, etc., etc. Okay, so these are the top scorers. What are we interested in now for the purpose of this lesson? Now, I want to create, right? I want to create a lesson like this, a quiz like this. What do I do? All that I need is just go to that myquiz.org. Can you see the screen now? I think you can see my screen now. Is it visible?
Sir, visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what do? We go to myquiz.org and then we create a questionnaire and we create answers. Of course, I've given only multiple choice questions here, but you can create lots of other different kinds of questions. Also, you set the time. How much time do you want for each question for your students to answer? You can set different times for different questions also. And you can also give, an appropriate value to that ranking. So how many marks do you like to give to each question correctly answered? And this also counts the speed at which you have answered. So the one who answers fastest is the one who gets higher marks. And how easy your task has become. In case you had to hold a physical test, you had to prepare that question paper, print enough copies of that, and then you have to ensure discipline. You have to administer that test, and you have to physically evaluate that. That's all a very tough task. So administering a test has become extraordinarily easy, and this is free. This website, what I have done today, is free, no cost. So suppose you build something like this into your class. I think most students have technology available to them. Most of them have smartphones, and I don't know if your colleges allow them inside the class or not, but now in case you are doing online classes and then if they are sitting at their homes, perhaps there's no problem at all. So use any one such. Kahoot is another extraordinarily good tool. And Forms Google you're already using, and then that's some kind of a survey. Of course, the time need not be synchronous. People can fill out those forms at different times. Lots of other things can be done. So this is one tool I wanted to introduce to you. Then Google offers almost everything that a language learner, a teacher needs, right? Whatever you want. Google has a whiteboard, Google has a classroom, Google has YouTube, Google has, and the list goes on. Almost everything that you need. So, okay, in case you want to begin offering online teaching, are there any guidelines that you can get? Are there any helpful tips that you want? So yes, there are some very simple tips. What do you do? So when you want to make a lesson, for instance, I asked you to create a video lesson. So choose the best place available within your house. You cannot leave your home. You cannot buy a studio. You cannot overhaul your house, but within the available resources, the best possible place. What is the best possible place? Where there is plenty of light, and then where there is enough space for you to move about, where there is opportunity for you to use your hands, at least if you're not standing, and there are no distractions, audio, visual, whatever. So, in case you inform your family that you're going to do a lesson and then you don't like to be disturbed during the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, I think that makes your lesson much more appealing, right? In case you have a place within your home and then you can take some time to prepare that, what's there behind you, what's there in front of you, how do you look on the camera, how close you should look, where you should be. You can try different ways, and then you can identify the best place, the best position, and the best background available to you. For this, you need not spend anything. Just make some suitable changes. Suppose there is some light coming from here, perhaps you switch off that light. And if there is no light here, maybe you can fix a light here in front of you. Light must always be in front of you. Light must fall on your face. So the laptop must be between you and the light, so that I think your face receives the light and then you are visible to people. And if possible, make your room soundproof, close the doors, close the windows as soundproof as possible. You not, again, call an engineer to do that. You can do it yourself. If a curtain is needed, you can put it up, yes. Then, of course, the last thing is the most important. Any audio lesson, video lesson, a podcast that you want to create, or anything that you want, need lots of practice. The more practice you do, the better the output is going to be. So outcomes depend on the effort that you put in. So if you want to begin today, do many rehearsals, one full dress rehearsal, and then finally, when the best product, when you are satisfied with that, when you are happy with the product that you have created, then you can send it around, circulate it around to your students and help others. These are some very simple tips. Of course, maybe as you work on this, as you continue doing this, you will automatically learn lots of things. Nobody need to teach them to you. So this is again some kind of a self-learning package. Or if you want to learn from somebody, an expert, again, you can go Google and then you can search for some website where you are taught how to present lessons. And again, that comes to you free. Okay. Then let me show you a very brief video about what the future is going to be, what we can expect to happen instead of our classrooms or in our classrooms, right? Let's see this. So all these are going to happen. Let me not spend time on them. Let me just directly show you this video.
Let's face it, school's not what it used to be. Today's high schoolers are learning how to fly drones and 3D printing their artwork. It's really cool, but also kind of scary. So what crazy new technologies will replace number 2 pencils and good old graph paper in the classrooms of the future? Virtual reality has been around since the 90s, but now Facebook and Google are no longer in your face, but on your face. Google's Expeditions program turns smartphones into virtual reality viewers using simple, inexpensive cardboard. And now that Facebook's bought Oculus Rift, they're planning on getting into classroom gaming as early as next year. This is the first kind of headgear that might get you into the popular crowd. 3D printing in schools is revolutionizing the art of show and tell. These printers can make machine parts, jewelry, even guns. Yesterday's arts and crafts is now modern-day engineering. Elementary-aged children are already using 3D printing to design prosthetic hands. Remember how you had to lug around heavy books and then swap them out for other heavy books from your locker? Well, now there's the cloud, saving students from back problems everywhere. But the cloud could also give teachers direct access to data on students' study habits. By doing all their homework online, students provide engagement data on how long they've spent on their assignments and whether or not they're taking notes. There's a bonus though. Major publishers could use that data to judge how effective and engaging certain textbooks are, so you could be recycling that boring algebra book. With biometrics technology, you've got fingerprint scanning to borrow library books and iris scanning instead of ID cards. Teachers will even be able to tell if you're concentrating or not during online courses using eye tracking technologies. Yikes. It's like old school projectors, but in 3D. Remember Michael Jackson's Back from the Dead moonwalk performance? Well, hologram technology in classrooms is still just a dream for now because it's too expensive. But in the future, it would allow teachers to give lessons to students across the world. Imagine taking a tour of a historic 3D model of the Colosseum right from your desk. The potential for new technology in the classroom is pretty amazing. But will it cause students who are plugged in all the time to forget what it's like to live in the real world?
Okay, that's the future of education. And maybe there are lots of other things. Perhaps we do not have time to discuss them, how biometrics, how micro-learning modules. Maybe these days, people do not have a lot of time. And that's why we can produce 1 minute lessons, half a minute lessons. TikTok, how popular it has become in no time. So in case you produce instead of that TikTok entertainment, suppose you can create TikTok lessons. How interesting they would be. Half a minute to teach a lesson. One grammar point. I think lots of other technologies have become available to teachers and they are becoming increasingly popular. And I'm sure all of you will try them and will benefit from them and will use them effectively to help yourself and to help your students. Wish you all the best. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Maybe we can spend some time discussing. If you have any questions, maybe you can post them. Somebody will read them out for me and we will try to help each other.
And what about the people who come from rural areas, either from the side of what we call rural area teaching faculty as well as the students? How can acquire these skills into their daily life? Is there any special identified package for them to get into these tools very easily? This is my doubt, sir. Am I clear?
Yes. Thank you very much for that. It's very interesting question. And in fact, that's a question that has been in the minds of all the policymakers. So whenever an alternative technology is available, whenever a new scheme happens, even when a new textbook is introduced. So the pricing of the textbook, the availability of the textbook, and the students' affordability to buy that simple textbook, which costs maybe 100 rupees, is still a matter of policy making. So whenever new technologies come, so there must be some policy decision at the government levels and technology must become available. When, for instance, if a student has a smartphone but does not have good bandwidth, that's a problem again. So government has told us that only 16% Indian school children have access to broadband. I mean, access to internet. And only 43.5% of urban college students have access to good bandwidth. These are statistics published by government. So students need not only a smartphone, but also a good, continuous, fast internet connection. So these are all technical issues which we cannot resolve. As far as teachers are concerned, with the available technology, what is it that I can achieve instead of worrying about what cannot be done? So there are two things that teachers can always debate. Oh, my classroom is not good. This board is not good. This furniture is not good. This light is not good. I cannot do. Our students are not coming. Students are not interested. See, these are all complaints. Okay, all these complaints are genuine, valid, etc. What am I doing with the available technology? Let's, for the time being, not worry about the students that are not there. Somebody else will worry about them. As far as I am concerned, what I'm willing to do for the students who are interested, who are willing, who are capable, who are, who can afford this. That's all. So I'm going to work with them. In case I have a suggestion to the government, I'll certainly pass it on to the principal, to the management, to the government, to the education minister. Maybe I'll write a letter, I'll take an appointment, I'll speak to them. Or in case I can help my students in some other way, maybe suppose, of course, because of lockdown, students cannot meet each other. If they can form small pools and 3 or 4 of them can share one device in one place. If it's possible, allow that, encourage that.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Madam, please.
Excuse me, there are a couple of questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Dr. Sai Mamta from the Department of English ALC would like to know which mode of classroom, Edmodo or Google Classroom, is better, and which of these classrooms are students comfortable with?
It depends on lots of things. See, it depends on your own comfort level, your students' comfort level, how conversant with you are the technology. Every one of them offers almost similar features. If you compare Edmodo and Moodle, they're comparable products. So if you perhaps, maybe they're very similar. Some of them have some advantages over the other in some respects. So the teacher is the final judge. The teacher must first become absolutely comfortable with the technology that she is going to use. She must attain some kind of proficiency in that. She must try it quite a few times. I said practice, 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 practice. So become conversant with that, proficient in that, and then start using it. If it is not meeting all that you want to do with it, then go in for a new technology. Till then, you can manage with that.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rajita Rajuri wants to know, her question goes like this. Will there be a retrenchment of jobs of teachers in case we are not updated with online?
It is not a question of retrenchment, but do you want to stay where you are? Or are you sure that you are going to be where you are? Suppose you are working in government, perhaps government is a long-term contract like thing, and then till you retire, perhaps you are there. But in private establishments, it's not like that. The moment the management realizes that you are not up to the mark, up to their expectations, up to the students' expectations, up to their requirements, right? The trends, the new trends that are there that are there everywhere. So in case you don't meet them, automatically you have to quit. These days, appointments happen on contract basis. There are no permanent jobs in the market now. All teachers are either on contract basis or as guest teachers, or in various other new nomenclatures have come. I retired from service 9 years ago. So I am 67 years old now. So, but you are not like that. You are all young teachers. You are just into your profession. Maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years old in your job career. So what happens? So you are a contract teacher. At the end of the SEM, at the end of the year, you are going to be either terminated or dropped and are going to be re-recruited for the next year. Even if you are appointed on a permanent basis, if the management believes that you are not meeting their expectations, why would you be continued? So there is a threat, not from technology, as I told you already. So technology is helpful. Technology benefits you. Technology is there to be used. And it's available to every one of us equally, alike. So if I use it, I survive. If I don't use it, I'm gone. Right.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Kavya Chandana, her question is, can we grab attention with online students?
Again, it depends on how successful, how effective it is. See, just put yourself in a physical classroom situation. How many teachers know how to grab the attention of the students? Not everybody is alike. No? So some teachers can grab the attention of the students much more successfully than the others. Some teachers are good at it. They know the tricks of the trade. They know the skills of teaching. Teaching is a skill, and skills can be acquired. They can be improved. They can be built. They can be learned. So as a teacher, you have to learn the skill of holding sustaining the attention of your students. If a student is not paying attention to you, in 99% of the cases, it's not the student's mistake. I'm sorry to say this. If I'm hurting anybody's sentiments, I'm really very sorry. 99% of the cases, it's not the problem with the student. It's the problem with me. Why is the student not paying attention to me? There is something here. Because somebody else is able to achieve that, I'm not able to do that. My neighbor, my colleague, somebody else who is working in the same environment, teaching the same textbook, teaching the same lesson, teaching in a similar classroom, under similar circumstances, is able to deliver goods. If I am not able to do it, there is something that I can improve on. So this is a lesson to me. So maybe I must look at myself. It's an opportunity for me to rediscover myself. Maybe I have to ask myself, am I made for this? Right? Can I be a better teacher? So your correspondent was talking about version 2. So I have to become my version 2. I am nagaRAJU today. Tomorrow, if I am not nagaRAJU 2.0, I mean, nobody will invite me for a lecture like this. So I told you I retired 7 years ago. If I have not updated myself on the technologies that are available, do you think you would have invited me today? No. It's my job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Probably this is the last question from Dr. Sarath. He would like to know which technology you address to rural students for online teaching.
The simplest technology is just to create some video lessons and audio lessons and pass them on to your students on some platform like WhatsApp. Easiest, most convenient, and everybody can access that. I told you already, start creating your own lessons. You must become an image. You must become a brand. The lessons prepared by you must become a brand. They must look for, sir, when is the next lesson coming? Like that. Make them as interesting. When you are producing a video lesson on your own, in your own house, on your own camera, what stops you from being the best? Do all that you can. Right? Suppose you want to show a screen, show that. Or you want to dance in front of the camera. I mean, if it's relevant, I mean, do it. But make your lesson interesting so that your student looks forward to it, waits for the next lesson. And that's in our hands. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question. It's from Anita Pawar. She says, some students are natives of rural areas and they don't have any information related to smart technology. Now, during these lockdown period, we are conducting online classes, but some students are not in touch. My question is how to encourage them. It's the same.
I think it's the same question. We have already answered it, but I would like to remind you here, this is a kind of a warning, that many people think online teaching and online learning is just producing a lesson on Zoom. No, it's a lot more. Just because you have taught on Zoom, don't think you have become an online teacher. You have just used one simple tool that's available to you. Unless you use a good LMS, unless you are capable of using a good learning management system, you are not an online teacher. Teaching on Zoom is not online teaching. It's just one channel that you have created. Instead of teaching here, you are teaching here. That's all. That's the only difference, no? So instead of teaching in this room, suppose you go to that room and teach there. Do you become an online teacher? Teaching on Zoom is just one more physical variation, one more technical variation. You are doing the same thing on camera. So start using the advanced tools like learning management systems. At least I think every teacher must be comfortable using at least one LMS. Please do that.
Thank you, sir. So it was an interactive session, very stimulating session, sir. Thank you so much for being with us and equipped with all the tools that we have come to know, both as learners and teachers. Hope we would go a long way in educating our learners also. Thank you, sir. And